Hello everyone, Switch Dolphin here. This video is going to be a little bit different from what I normally do. For the past 5 years, all of you have been noticed how I have been creativity and very handy to do with my for example when I do my last stories and true friend stories and to some of the few songs that I've made for my girlfriend, well, like Christmas gift or Valentine's gift or something like that. But that is not the only thing that is very handy about. Ever since been out my work, I had been done quite a few things in wood, and I decided why not to show at least a picture of some of the things I had made by hand. I know that some of you might be a little bit amazed or maybe surprised or actually how I made those things. I will actually telling you some details and what kind of tools are made by using these particular items. There will be one item that unfortunately won't be able to be seen, since that item was made as a gift for my girlfriend's cousin for her and her boyfriend's 4 years anniversary last year. So unfortunately, I don't have it. But on the list, like I do mention, is a wooden heart with a drill hole in the middle where you can place a candle or those fake light candles in it and their initials in both sides of the heart. That's all things I can tell. And now I will show you the pictures of the things I had made for my girlfriend of by hand, particularly in wood. The first item you see is a wooden dolphin. My girlfriend is so much in love with dolphins, since it's her very first favorite animal. So I decided why not make a dolphin for her in wood. And I will tell you, it wasn't that easy, because this particular item, the wooden dolphin, well, I had only used one simple tool, and that was a knife. And no, and also, but before I even used the knife, this was used to be like a brick size of a piece of wood. I used a saw first to cut out some of the parts with them, but the rest of that was actually made by knife. And believe me, it took me a while to do this. And actually, this one is in fact the first one that I ever made. I made a second one that I sent to my girlfriend as her birthday, and she painted it. But I do say I was proud of this work, and I do have to admit I'm really proud of it. But also, the first one I made was actually the very first ever made dolphin of wood that I ever had made by using a knife. I was really proud and even amazed at the outcome of this first dolphin I made. Even especially the second one also ended up being perfect. And I have to say, she loved the gift. After all, since dolphins is her favorite animal. I'm just amazed at how it turned out to be such great time, and especially how the work and the patient enough to make this particular item. I know that my girlfriend loves it, and as long as she loves it, and I am happy for that. Let's go to the next item. The second item is a wooden heart. Not the first one I did mention, but something similar. In fact, there's only two of this type of heart that I had made. One is made for my girlfriend, and the other one is for me. And in this one, I didn't even use a knife. The only tools I made for this one was in fact a chisel and a hammer. And I do mention this though. The first one I was made was also the very first time I ever made something like this. I was really surprised how the outcome of the very first one I made. I was really impressed of myself. I wanted to expand my skills in by using tools in wood or any particular either material. But using the wood is something much easier to do. And since I have been using carved wood since I was a kid, but nothing like this. But using a chisel, well, I had made use one when I was back in maybe for the third grade school and onwards, but nothing like this though. Because even though I had some experience by using chisel, but I do have to say, when I made this one, the very first of this type, I wasn't even sure if it was going to turn out as I wanted to. Even despite I was very impressed how the outcome turned out about the first I ever made. Even though my girlfriend, when she got the first one, she later on painted her own, which I don't mind. Even despite this, even though you can even see in the part around the heart, you can still see the chisel marks around it. There was something else. I even used sandpaper. Well, just because to remove some of the surface area so that you won't get any like wood splinters in your fingers. But I was really proud of this work outcome, and I was really impressed of how this work ended up to be. And I really hope that I will be able to do something similar in the future, maybe with some other different material. And I will try to expand and even try to improve my skills in making wood items for my girlfriend, or perhaps for my family, or maybe for her family. Now, let's go the last third item of the wood I made. And the third and last wooden item that I made, well, this was actually came to be as an idea to do something similar. This is in fact the Yin Yang symbol of the Chinese. Well, I was the first, wasn't even sure because this was actually the very first time I ever made something like this at all. And this type of work of this I made, I used something very similar to a chisel, but this type of chisel was a very small one, but like a miniature size of it. And I actually made this particular wooden item today from at work. And believe me, I wasn't even sure how it even would even work out. Because this was the very first item that I ever made in this particular thing. But I have to admit though, I'm really proud and really impressed how this even worked out. There was only thing that about this. This was actually the very test item because I wanted to do something even this type of thing, but even a larger piece of wood. So before I decided to do that, I wanted to be able to try in a small scale work first, just to see how this how this would outcome of this work. Even some of my coworkers at work was actually very impressed how they was even turned out. They were even impressed of my skills, and even I was I was even really impressed my own skills when I made this one because the first item I made of the dolphin was actually made of using a knife. And even though when I made that one, I sometimes cut on my fingers from time to time. So small cuts, but nothing serious. But this time I took really carefully so I would even hurt myself again. And I was really impressed. I don't know what else I will do in the future of wood, or maybe, I don't know, maybe something other type of material. But I will try still to improve my skills in woodwork and perhaps even try to do some others. Maybe plastic or maybe metal, who knows? But for now, I'll try to stick with wood. After all, wood is quite easy material to use, depending on what you want to do. And it's one other word to be used when you're trying to do something in any type of that material, if it's going to be clay, wood, metal, plastic. Always have an open mind of imagination. And sometimes when you want to do something, first of all, figure out what you want to do in that particular material. And I would prefer, if you want to do something, maybe something big, first do it in a small scale, just to see how it will work out or not. Because practice means a better improvement. Despite this was actually the first time when I and like the last item I made, and today actually, since that was the very first time I ever did that. But still, I was still trying to improve my skills and even other things about this. I know that some of my subscribers or my viewers can be even handy some other in particular items. Some might maybe been skilled in painting. I have to admit, my drawing itself, like of animals, not that so good. I'm good at drawing some things, but like animals like that, no much about. But we are skills in some areas. Some are very talented in drawing, others in made in singing or in sports, for example. But I always want to improve my skills in woodwork, and especially carving with a knife. Because who knows, maybe one day I might be able to carve something that I will be impressed of and even proud of. But every work I do in wood always, that I mean always, improves and even makes me feel proud. And you may ask if anyone had taught me some of this, well, except for my wood class in school, no. Most of the part of the carving by knife, that actually was trained to teach by myself. Well, at least told me by my dad, always cut it from you, not towards you. Except from that part, I learned by carving my knife by my own. And I had even watched some videos on YouTube how to carve in wood like that. That can actually work. Because I would even recommend if you want to do something something particular item in wood, like carving by knife, always remember the safety and also the second, maybe you can watch some YouTube videos or maybe have teach by someone else who has been maybe skilled or maybe has some experience in carving woods. Maybe your dad, your brother, uncle, or maybe your grandfather. Who knows? But I would usually prefer to do at least learn before you do something on your own. If you're unexperienced by carving things in wood by a knife, have someone at least train you about how to be in, so that you don't hurt yourself. And even if that particular item you are working on and that it somehow get messed up, that's okay. It is frustrated. I understand this can be very frustrating that you have been maybe had come halfway from your item and it still has been since been going as you planned to, and suddenly a part of it gets messed up and it can't be fixed, and you still tell yourself, man, I worked so hard on this, I had to restart from again. But that is the thing. Practice means in you improving your skills. So even if you want to just say, I quit, I don't know what to do anymore. But remember, practice means improvement. if I had even to some try to improve, continue the practice, I wouldn't even been good at this. And I am talking about experience because back when it was 5 years ago when I started my love stories, I was actually got very much comments that I my grammar spelling was terrible, which I've in then back then I'd used Google Translator for most of the text because my English back then was even my speaking was probably decent well, but my typing or writing in English wasn't that good. But I tried and improved my English, and now it is much better as it still has. So, if on that part, always, always practice if you want to be better in that particular item or that particular area you want to do. If it is acting, singing, or even working some items like wood, metal, plastic, or maybe clay. Remember that. Always continue to practice. That's the only advice I can give you for that. And I'm really impressed how my work had turned out. Despite all of this were actually the very first time I ever made something similar to that particular item. But that won't stop me though, because I will always, that I mean always, practice and in practice to improve my skills even better. And perhaps one day I might even tackle the next step in the material, like maybe metal. I just say, always remember, practice, practice means improvement. Remember that. And I even would I would like to know what you all think about these items I had made by wood on my own hand. Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, subscribe, leave a comment, and as always, this is Switch W over and out.